Hello and welcome to another episode of the Wadhwani Viewpoint podcast. My name is Manali Shah and today's conversation is going to be all about business. We have with us today Mr. Rajesh Setia, who's had a long and illustrious journey as a business owner. He graduated as a mechanical engineer and holds an MBA with a specialization in marketing. Today, he's the founder and director of TESTPAN India, which offers complete delivery of computer-based assessment services. Rajesh, welcome to the show and thank you so much for taking the time out. TESTPAN India provides complete delivery of computer-based assessment services. Rajesh ji, welcome to the show and thank you so much for taking the time out.
Thank you, Manali, and thank you to Wadhwani Foundation, Atulji, for giving me this opportunity to come to the postcard for the first postcard of my life itself. So it's a great opportunity and honor for me.
That's great to know. Let's begin by talking a little bit more about what TESTPAN India does.
Okay, so TESTPAN is my masterstroke legacy company after three other enterprise version I did from 2002 onward. So we are basically a startup recognized company, MSME approved, CRISIL rated, and ISO 9001-2015 certified company. We are basically a tech enabler, online aggregator, and service provider to book and manage test centers and other 9 ancillary services for the delivery of computer-based online exam, not only in India, but in international countries as well. So we started in 2016, bagged a couple of awards, recognition from Facebook. We are there on Startup India portal. We are also occupying a space on Startup India virtual space, and also one of the 441 company who has availed 80 IAC tax holiday also from Startup India scheme.
That's great, and I'm sure your perspective will help a lot of SMEs that are tuning into this episode. So let's get down to the questions that I had in mind for you. Now, we all know that the pandemic has really hit the SME sector really hard. Many had to shut shop or many had to temporarily close business. What the impact has been is something we're aware of. But now, moving forward in a post-pandemic era, it's a question that is resonating across industries. What are the proactive measures that businesses can take to avoid a downturn? We cannot predict something like this happening. A pandemic is something that none of us foresaw coming, but a downturn is something a business should be prepared for. What steps can a businesses take?
So we are primarily a very operation-driven company. So we were absolutely working from the office space, never thought of going for technology, never thought of having this kind of a disruption ever in life. So it came as like a finishing of everything, and then the word resilience came into the picture. Yes, we can do it, and yes, we will do it. A team of hardly 12 people in the organization into 2020 January. We thought we are finished. For example, in what my business does, whatever the computer-based online exams are being lined up in Pan India, they are to be physically managing those test centers where these candidates who are giving entrance exams, business exams or recruitment exams of government, they have to physically go to the test center and give those exams. And this is where our operation lies. So we thought pandemic, everybody is locked down, everybody is home. So there were two solutions which came out of it. Either we adopt a technology, or we shut down a business, or we think of an innovative way so that we are coming out of this problem statement. So first of all, what we did, before giving a training to my team how they should perform, it was me who really thought what is to be done. So this the way we are interacting now, and that time Zooms were there, Teams were there, but we were not bothered about something which is, we always believe that meeting in person makes more of sense. I started participating in many of the webinars. People thought it's a waste of time, it's just a time pass, but it was a lot of learning because I knew it. Nobody knows the solution. Nobody knew in this
Right.
entire world knows the solution, how to go about it. So we thought, to train somebody, you have to have learning yourself. I think 15 days to 3 weeks we took, we participated in your seminars and other organization seminars and thought what is to be done in general. And then, since we were all there working from home, and this was the first thing ever in my business lifespan of 22 years. So we had to arrange the hardware, we had made to make the things possible, teams should go, and we were all disconnected. So learning myself and then started imparting to the team was the first ever step to make team also, ready for this pandemic situation. I was lucky enough during the pandemic, my teams were intact with me and we did not do even a single layoff. So learning myself, making team trains, now what? Still the operations were not active. So we inculcated 9 other business vertical in the same marketplace for the next 3 months. What if we don't do only test center booking? If they are not happening, then how do we generate the revenue? How we are going to keep the expenses going on? So the next was innovation. Innovation in business revenue vertical. Learning yourself, making your team intact, holding their hand, showing resilience, and now generating the revenue. So we incorporated 9 other things which helped us to boost our confidence, irrespective of the car, that we were operational. It is similar, what I can say, SME which is doing manufacturing. It is almost similar to that. You cannot go to the office, labor cannot come to the factory. It is like that. Even for service, it was a similar situation.
Right. That's great to know. I think it's wonderful that TESTPAN was able to pivot and introduce more services and keep the business up and going. So I'll move on to my next question. Multiple studies have shown that SMEs who had already adopted technology or who adopted technology during the pandemic emerged much stronger and fared much better than the ones who did not. Can you talk a little bit about the importance of digitization for SMEs?
So adopting technology is a must for SME today. Few of the SME entrepreneurs who are of old school of thought, and they have the kind of businesses, which cannot really be converted into technology. No, it is, they have put up a putty on their arc and they are saying that nobody is watching there, or he is not watching it there, or she is not watching anybody, but everybody is watching there. So there is a solution, my strong belief, provided you have that kind of a mindset. If not the prime business, but the ancillary services, ancillary processes, ancillary activity related to those businesses can be begin with the digitalization. I give you a small example. We always write books of account, and we do it our way, maybe manually, maybe using some accounting software, and there are multiple accounting software. What if these softwares today are adopted with the advantage of analyzing the financial terms? Your business is very mechanical, cannot adopt the technology. For the SMEs who are into the traditional business, but what is the analyzation of that accounting information? If that also comes to the entrepreneur timely, the wise decision can be taken. So it's not that adopting a process which cannot be digitalization, the blockade is over, but to make that business more profitable, more advantageous, the other activities can be digitalized. So I would request SMEs, if their main process cannot be digitalized or they cannot adopt technology, but the processes of accounting, process of marketing, process of recruitment, all these can be anytime digitalized. There are a lot of solutions coming now in market. These 2 years of pandemic has given a man who was running blindly a pause to think, to brainstorm and come with the new solution. It is just our exposure, whether we have reached to that stage to understand that yes, there are solutions which are existing, and we have to adopt in best of our capacity
Capacity, yeah.
to our related business. So that is
Right.
what we can say at this stage.
Right. That makes a lot of sense. So Rajesh, you have an MBA with a specialization in marketing. Let's talk about the unique advantages of branding and marketing that SMEs can reap.
If you really want to scale, you want to expand, branding and marketing plays a very, very important and a huge role. Maybe you think your product is only sellable in Northern India. It is not there in Southern India. For example, I say, if we started a test center booking with my business, for which we started only 3 test centers in Delhi, and we would have thought all Delhi center we will be able to book. So we would have restricted ourselves to Delhi. But with branding, marketing, and adopting digitalization and utilizing all the resources available, associations available who are ready to help you out, we are not only now present in India, but lately we were able to book test centers in the South countries sitting in India, that too in New Delhi. We successfully, conducted exam. By conduction of exam means doing our part of the delivery, not only in India, but in the South countries as well. Going to that statement, no, we have a limitation, and marketing is just an overhead to us. There are so many channels where you can do branding and marketing free of cost. If the traditional SMEs, they are not doing it themselves, or they have a limitation of education, background, thought process, they should pass it to the next generation. Maybe the next generation also, if they are not willing to do that traditional business, they should hire the professionals. I think the kind of, if they have sustenance and if they have grown or they have been doing reasonably fine, hiring professional is not a difficult job. Even if their kids or their sons or daughters are not willing to do that traditional business, you always hire the professionals who have exposed you to today's world.
Now, access to finance has been a big obstacle for SMEs traditionally. Things are changing now, but it still remains an obstacle. How can we overcome that?
There are n number of numerous solutions with SMEs. I remember I went one of the MSME physical event before pandemic, and they were telling that what schemes MSMEs can avail. So they talked about CGTMS, and they asked in a public, is there any business who has availed it? I think I only raised the hand, and I said, sir, yes, these government scheme exist and we have availed it. There was a normal thing, and suddenly the speaker who was from Government of India, I sat down and sit up. He said, can you, gentlemen, please stand up again and repeat what you have said. When I said that, at least then he said quotedly, yes, there is one gentleman in this entire thing who says the Government of India schemes are there for the people and it can be availed. The $1 million problem statement is, are you having those kind of papers and the support documentation by which you can really avail it? If you have done finances with a shortcut, and if you have done finances with legitimate compliances and everything, all the schemes, I will not go through the schemes. So there are many things you have already covered in your, many of the podcasts and seminars and this thing. It is how you want to do the business. Legitimate way, aate mein namak, namak mein aata. You have to think on these things. These are the base points. अगर आप सोचो कि मुझे cash business करना है और cash ही करना है, and I want to do the manipulation. So I'm not giving any offense or any thing to the people who are doing it legitimately, but we know if we can't prove it on papers, the government will not accept the fact. Neither the banks. हम बोलते हैं अंडा मुर्गी अंडा का debate. I think it's generation and generation.
Right.
Fought कि नहीं scheme खराब है. वो कहेंगे नहीं सर आपके business के document पूरे नहीं.
Right.
If you are preparing a documents, if you are doing a business, I think it is the way you should do it with the compliances. I remember my father says, yeah, I was doing a cash business and I was happy. I don't know, मेरे को आपका ना ये क्रेडिट वाला बिजनेस समझ नहीं आता. मैंने कहा, फादर साहब, I agree that was the need of the time way back in 80s and 90s or maybe early 90s, right? आज अगर मैं क्रेडिट पे कर रहा हूँ और मैं स्केल लेवल पे कर रहा हूँ तो मुझे पेपर्स पर ही करना होगा. Because whatever I am doing, I will never be able to prove it on cash business. But yes, I will be able to prove it if I have done it through the legitimate way of doing financial paperwork. Let it be an audited balance sheet. Let it be timely paying GST. Let it be timely paying TDS or any obligation. Manali, you would appreciate that. पहले क्या था, सब कुछ manual.
Right.
Technology अगर बड़ी है तो वो ओवरऑल बड़ी है. You know, हम बोलते थे, so we have been to many countries, so social security number एक आता है तो वो लोग बड़े proudly बोलते थे एंटर मारा और सब कुछ आ गया.
Right.
Are we not heading to that with Aadhaar card? Are we not heading with that? So the technology is being adopted by the government side also, from the people side also, and from the business side also. And still, if you are hiding the things and if you are not doing it, so you can't scale. A lakh of rupee in cash is weaker than 1,000 rupees in check. So the hurdles will be overcome. First, you have to have your documentation, the finance part written properly so that you are confident. So I want to, think on how to increase the sales, but I would not like to spend my time, money and energy in manipulating the business entries. Whatever is liable to government should be paid to government. Whatever is liable to the people with the compliances should be paid to them. And whatever profit comes. So my business 99.95 I should say is digitalized. An entry of rupee 1 to 1 crore is via bank. And I'm saying it proudly because these are the few things which you have to decide. Unless you adopt it, your organization will not adopt it. Your people will not adopt it. And if you have given that ecosystem which has an environment, irrespective of 1 rupee to 1 crore, it is going to be a digital payment. Everybody is going to accept it because आप बताइए, फॉर एग्जाम्पल मैं बोलता हूँ, हम एयरपोर्ट को गंदा क्यों नहीं करते जब हम वहां जाते?
राइट.
स्ट्रीट पे क्यों कर देते हैं? हम कार का शीशा खोलते हैं और मूंगफली के छिलके बाहर फेंक देते हैं, बट कैन यू डू इट एट एयरपोर्ट?
राइट.
Because the environment being created over there. Similarly, your business, the environment you have created within your organization will not only help you adopt fair ways, even for your teams who are working. So it is first you have to start, your team has to start writing the businesses in an ideal way. I think बहुत ही बड़ा theoretical thing है, but if you adopt it, it has a miracle results.
You've made a great case on transparency, Rajesh ji. Thank you so much. I think it will really benefit the SMEs that are tuning in. My name is Manali Shah, and thank you for tuning into this episode. I'll see you in the next one.